back to which is Make Believe Band podcast. Episode, I believe this is episode 5. Can't really remember. It's been a few days since I've recorded. Just had some stuff going on, so we're gonna jump right back into it as we do. Now this time is gonna be our first season review. So we've done. Oh, sorry, that's not true. We didn't have a season review last year, but this is our second year in the league. We know Archie won the last league, the first season. We did the whole review of all the startups you can. But today we're going to go through the 2023-2024 fantasy season, which obviously coincides with the 2023-2024 season. We do have quite a bit to talk about today. I see Sleepy Jurist in the chat. He might want to leave this one. There's a lot of Tim trades that we're going to be talking about today that don't paint him in a good light, but we'll see. There are some not as bad trades, but most of Tim's activity is mediocre at best. No offense, but like I said, we're going to go through season 2 of the league here. I've got the sleeper chat pulled up. There's a lot of messages in here. See how small that bar is if you're watching. But we have quite a few scrolls to get through. I've got all the trades already. Well, in my own setup here. I've got some notes. But yeah, we're just going to go through this in order, really. We're going to talk about pre-draft, so movement that went on pre-draft. We're going to talk about the draft itself, and then obviously talk about some grades, some good picks, bad picks. And then after the draft, not much. Well, actually, there was a lot of movement, but some movement there, and then the season, and then any in-draft trades as well. So let's get started. We're going to start scrolling down. There's not really anything here. Some people putting stuff on the trade block until we get to the first trade, which is right here. We have Dylan and Taylor making a trade here. First trade of the 2023 offseason. 2023 offseason is Dylan acquiring a 2024 first and a 2023 third for Isaiah Pacheco. And at the time, we don't have anything in the chat here. Well, we have Trev saying that Dylan was fleeced, but that was a kind of a common thing. I think Trev says that about every trade. But at the time, I think we all thought Dylan was getting a great deal here. Now, I have painstakingly gone through and tried to determine where all these picks landed up. I just want to show you. This is my old spreadsheet. You guys all have access to this information, all this spreadsheet stuff still. But I have all the trades and stuff here. I only went through it up until week 4 of the season, so some of these trades I had to really dig and look through each of these. I'll explain later when I get there. But this one was pretty straightforward to determine because it was only 2 picks, and they were both from Taylor's team. As you see, it doesn't say what pick they were, so that's why it's kind of hard to figure it out, but I did figure this out. So the full trade ends up being Pacheco for the 2023 third, which ends up becoming Darnell Washington, tight end for Steelers. I think he's still there. And the 2024 first becomes Drake May. So that's, I don't know, that's tough. I think that this was, at the time, I was like, this is a reach for Taylor here. I thought this was a bad trade. I thought first was too much to trade for Pacheco. Because if we look at what he was coming off of this season, RB 34, averaged almost 5 a carry, and everyone's kind of, all over him because of his running style, that really hard nose down running style, and everyone loves that. I'm personally not a huge fan of Isaiah Pacheco, but I can't really argue with this move here because it did help Taylor win the league this year. Spoiler alert. So this one, I mean, even though I don't think it's a great trade, I think I'd rather have Drake May, even in a 1 quarterback league. On my current team, I'd rather have Pacheco. But if I'm just taking one or the other, I'm taking Drake May, I think. I don't know in the comments if anyone agrees or if you want to text whatever. I'm taking the Dylan side here. But, like I said, you can't really fault Taylor for making this deal because he won. I mean, he won the league. I think that in and of itself makes him the winner of this trade. But in a vacuum, I would say it's probably Dylan who wins this one. But more even than we thought. I think at the time everyone's like, "This is a bad trade." But more and more, the further and further we get away from it, I think the more and more even it becomes. But yeah, not a bad way to get us underway here. Then we have quite a big one. We actually have one that was accepted and vetoed because Taylor claims that he didn't accept this deal. It was a different one that he accepted, so we had to veto that one, redo it, and then we ended up landing on this here, which was quite the blockbuster of a deal. This was the Devontae Adams for the 101. This was the 101. So the 101 in 2023 was going to be Bijan. I think we all knew that. Taylor sends that and a 2025 third to me in exchange for Devontae Adams and a 2023 second. And again, at the time, I think we all thought this was a steal for me. I think we all thought I won this in a landslide. Devontae Adams getting older. I think he was 30 at the time. There's no way he's going to continue doing what he's done, and he really has. And that, especially that first year. Or no, sorry, I guess it was 2023 was his first year on Taylor's team. He was still a fringe wide receiver one, and then last year he was as well, even while missing 3 games, and even while being injured and having to deal with Karen Rodgers. So, I mean, the last 2 years he's still a wide receiver one at 32 years old, and again, helped Taylor win the league. So, can you really fault him for making this deal? Again, I think we all thought like this is an extreme underpay that I had to give up for the 101. And I was thrilled with that. I think I would still take Bijan over Adams just because of the age thing. And Bijan is one of the best backs in the league. So overall, though, Taylor wins this trade, in my opinion. Not just because I'm a self-hater, but because it helped him win the league. I mean, if he didn't have Adams, he wasn't going to win. It wasn't going to happen. And remember, he was picking first. He was the worst team in the league the first year. And he goes all the way and ends up winning it, partially because of both of these trades. Less so Pacheco, more so Devontae Adams. Then this one here. This one hurts. I want you to put yourself back in 2023. Let's see if I can find the headline, actually. Oops. Oh my God, I can't type. God. Yeah, see, 2023. Oh, that was August. It was definitely earlier than that. Yeah, see, he was sued, right? It's a good reason to believe that he had shot at or shot a child. I thought this guy was over. I thought he was done. Apparently, it wasn't him. It was someone in the house, is what they kept saying. I wanted to jump off this wagon. I was frustrated with Mixon as in general. And so I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to trade him. I was going to get rid of him. So I put him up on the block, and Nate decided to go in for him, which I was a little surprised about because he just traded all of his players. But I'm not going to complain because I got rid of Joe Mixon for a 2023 second and a 2025 third. Also, I forgot to talk about who else became of the Bijan trade. I'll go over that in a second. But this full trade became Joe Mixon for DJ Giddens. That was the 2025 third. And Jalen Hyatt, the 2023 second. Just a terrible, horrific trade for me. One I regret to this day, mostly because of what comes next in this saga. But this was a tough one. At the time, I was happy because it was off my team, and I felt like Ramondre Stevenson, Bijan Robinson, and Najee Harris were going to be a fine threesome, if you will, going forward. Now none of them are on my team, and they were not, so whatever. I'm pissed off about this one. I just wrote on my notes here, pain. It's not the first time, or not the last time I do that, so. But Okay, back to this one real quick. The first obviously ends up becoming Bijan. The 2025 third ends up becoming Kyle Williams, a steal, a guy who's not a third rounder. If you do a draft right now, he's not going in the third. So, I mean, that would be great if I had him. I traded that pick away at some point. Don't know when, but I did. And the 2023 second becomes Jonathan Mingo. So that's a bad pick. He's nobody. He's in Dallas now? I don't know. I think he is in Dallas, but not playing in Dallas very much. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. To just a classic Tim here. I hope he's still in the chat. He says he never made a bad trade in his life. This is the definition of a bad trade. I don't care what happens with the picks. I don't know what you thought Kenneth Gainwell was going to be here, Tim. And the only reason I'm going after you right now is because I was going to be nice, but then you tell everyone in the chat I don't know ball, so can't let that slide. I don't know what you were thinking Kenneth Gainwell was going to be. I mean, I don't know what really inspired he couldn't start ahead of Miles Sanders. Obviously, you didn't know he was gonna eventually back up Saquon Barkley. I'll give you that, but he couldn't even dethrone DeAndre Swift. I don't know what you were thinking, even a second and a third for this guy, but I'll take it. I will of course take that any day of the week. Now the picks end up being basically nothing. The second becomes Roman Wilson, who I think spent all year hurt, and I traded him basically immediately. Zach Evans, who I feel like he's a Ram. Is he not even the? Oh, he's the Jet now. He had to have been a Ram. Okay, he was a Ram at some point. That's just a terrible pick. Nice one, Seattle. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, yeah. So offseason starts off pretty hot. We have 4 trades already. I think it's in March. I want to say this is in March. I can go. Oh, it is right here, March 9th. Yeah. So we have another one here. Oh no, this is all that's going through. So now that trade is through. We got that one done. This is when we had the 2-day waiting period, but we don't have that anymore. Okay, Seattle's love affair with Joe Burrow here. Nickname's Joe Burr. Cringe. I still agree with that. His love affair, his what's it called? We'll say love affair. Well, one-sided love affair with Joe Burrow is a little cringe. Okay, moving on to our next trade. This is the doozy. I'll remember this one very, very, very fondly because I know exactly where I was. I got off the plane in Hawaii. So it sounds like a flex. I don't mean it to be a flex, but it was the honeymoon. We didn't pay for it. Step off the plane in Hawaii. First notification I get is this Blockbuster deal. What the heck's going on? I leave for a week and people start trading. People other than me start trading. We get Seattle and Rahul. Just a massive trade. Massive trade. At the time, I feel like people thought this was relatively even. I don't have anything. Oh, there's another good one here coming up. Actually, Trev, if you're listening, I might want to see if we can't get you in on the Discord for this next one real quick. Just if you're listening, just drop a message in the chat, Trev. He is listening. Oh, okay. I'll see. I don't know where my Discord is. We'll see if I can get you in here after we go through this. Just keep your ears peeled. So yeah, this is the big one. We have Seattle trading DJ Moore, Justin Fields, and a 2023 second to Rahul for Mike Williams, Lamar Jackson, and a 2023 first. Now, I think about it at this time. One, Rahul is obviously a Bears fan, and he is thinking. I mean, this guy was just quarterback 7, horrific thrower of the ball. But this rushing upside, you can't argue with this. 160 rushes, averaging 7 a carry is insane. But he traded away Lamar Jackson, who, league MVP, also has rushing upside. Maybe not quite as efficient as Fields was, especially with the injuries in the year that Rahul had him. He's also a much better thrower of the ball. I mean, just terrible. Just a terrible swap. I would rather have Lamar a million times out of a million. He does get the better of the receivers, of course. DJ Moore is obviously much better than Mike Williams. Mike Williams is now retired. So that's a easy win for Rahul. And he gives up a first for a second. Obviously, the main piece here is the Fields for Jackson. I don't know what you were thinking, Rahul. Yeah, Trev says Lamar greater than Justin Fields in the chat. Yeah, well, of course. We know this. I don't know. Rahul knew this. I think I asked him for his thoughts on this, and he didn't give me a response. I think he just said, I don't know. I don't know what he said. I reached out for comment. I have this in. It says Rahul says it's indefensible. The first ends up becoming Zach Charbonnet, and the second ends up becoming Tank Bigsby. So really, any way you look at this, I guess DJ Moore is a good piece to get back for Rahul. But this is bad. That's bad for him. Giving up a first and Lamar Jackson. I always forget there's also a first in there that he gave up to get Justin Fields. Like, oh, okay. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can get you in here. Where's my Discord? All right, let's see. Trev, I don't know how this is gonna work. This is bad behavior, bad streamer behavior. Have this already done. Right. Trev, you're in the Discord, right? I think you are. Okay. Alright, so I just created a channel, Trev. It should be, it's titled Trev. So you should see it right there under your channel. What Tim's talking about in chat here. Go to general, it should let you in. I have it locked so only you can join. Take a slight pause here if you're not watching. I'm trying to get Trev in here to discuss this next trade and future trades. Okay. Send him a message. I see him. Do I hear him? He's muted.
Hello?
Oh, I hear him. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. Now, anyone in the chat aside from Trev, in the Twitch chat, can you hear Trev? Tim, go ahead and comment or whatever if you can hear Trev. This would be
Tim, can you hear me, Tim? Little Timmy Tim.
Or any of the other 4 viewers. I think one of them is me and one of them is you. So.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
We can chat.
Come on. This guy can talk crap. Tim can talk crap and then just. Excuse me. Let me.
Hold on. Let me unmute myself and see if I can hear myself.
That's a good idea.
Test. Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, all right.
It's kind of like coming through your mic, but it's good enough.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay. So big trade here. I just want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you're still watching. Can you see on the screen? It's the Kittle for Darren Waller trade.
Oh, a favorite of mine.
Now, did he send this to you, or did you inquire about Kittle? Do you remember?
You know, I think it was so long ago, I honestly can't remember, but I feel like, I mean, it was definitely like texted about before it was even like sent,
Right.
And then sent back and forth a couple times, I think. But I think Dylan came to me,
I think you might be
if
right.
I remember right.
Because I feel like I asked him about this, and he said something along the lines of, I want all the Giants that could potentially make a difference.
I think that was it. I think he liked the tight end position specifically on the Giants, and then Waller was like the best one they probably had in quite a while. And he was very excited. I think this is similar to the Rahul trade, where in retrospect he's like, this is indefensible.
Yes, I think you're right.
I love it.
Yeah, I think this is.
I think Darren Waller played like game better.
I think it was not many more than that. Like
maybe a season total with the game.
He made the trade in 2020. He played 12 games for the Giants. He was he was tight end 2 for the Giant. Like, it's just bad.
Yeah,
and George Kittle obviously.
I was like, I'm gonna get off of him. I'm gonna get George Kittle, who at the time is like younger, but obviously like top. I think we both went into it being like, I think we have top 5 tight ends here, and we're kind of just swapping them. And then I gave him the better pick.
Yeah.
He gave me the worst pick. I don't know how I talked him into adding a pick.
Yeah, I mean, and the picks ended up, I don't think they became anything really. So you ended up getting the 3rd, which became Tyler Scott. Bears, I think.
Tyler Scott? Don't even know who that is.
He plays for the Bears. Somehow I ended up with that pick, or played for the Bears, and then I traded it to Rahul because he wanted another Bear. I don't know. Well, he comes back into play, and then the 24-second was Jalen Polk, who is.
That's 3 months ago. Yeah, it's something maybe.
I mean, it's better than Tyler Scott.
So. It's better than Tyler Scott. Yeah.
Overall, I mean.
Yeah, no, I was like, rationale was like, I'll get younger. And I think, was this right when they got Brock Purdy, and we were all like, kind of like, what's going to happen there?
I think he was. That might have been after his rookie year, where he was. Yeah, that was after his rookie year, where he started like the last couple games of the season. But
yeah, I think it was kind of like up in the air, like the QB situation, and then the Giants. I think Dylan just got a little excited on it.
Mm-hmm. Because the Giants were supposed to be better. I think they just made the playoffs. Yeah, I think they just made the playoffs, and then.
Yeah, I think it's something like we were high on Daniel Jones. They get this weapon. Oh boy, we're gonna be going crazy with Giants, and then we play 12 games. Yeah,
I think the only
12 games retired.
Yeah, the only saving grace for Dylan here is that he only had to give up Jeff Wilson to get George Kittle.
Yes.
But
so
even
turn Jeff Wilson into Darren Waller. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would do that 100% because Jeff Wilson is nobody. But
yeah,
I don't know. Especially, I don't know. I know Dylan does not look back on this one fondly. Yeah, that was a huge trade for you because I don't remember your team.
I mean, yeah, I haven't had to really worry about tight end in 3 years, whatever.
And I think. Yeah, other than Waller, at least after the startup, you had Hayden Hurst, Tommy Tremble, and Jelani Woods. Like,
yeah, I've just been like taking swings, and it looks like the Kraft kid or something.
Yeah,
and then I got prospects out of you too. Or just like, oh, maybe they'll be the tight end's so hard to draft.
Well, because usually you draft them, and then it takes 2 years for them to even be ready to play. Yeah,
so like by that time I cut them.
Right, exactly. You have. It's like a super long game, and then sometimes like I had Greg Dulcich year 1. I was like, this is the young tight end to have. I drafted him, I think like 10th round, and then he's out of the league. Like he doesn't play.
Yeah, out of the league.
He's out. Doesn't. I think he might be on a practice squad somewhere. But he was like.
If you would ask me if he was like,
he was okay, not as good as I remember, but like, all of these came in 10 games. He did 33 catches, 411 yards in 10 games. I'm like, this is.
Oh yeah, he's on the Broncos.
Yeah, and then he's been terrible. I think I ended up.
Yeah.
No, actually,
that was like the tough stretch. Like, you can't trust any of these people.
Yeah. Okay.
We can cuss on here, right?
What's that?
We can cuss on here, right?
I didn't hear you. One more time.
We can cuss on here, right?
Oh yeah. It's not family friendly. I think I did the first one, and I was like, oh, screw this. Okay, we're just gonna cuss. I do want to get your thoughts on one more of your trades.
Okay.
I don't feel like scrolling all the way down, and we did talk about this off air.
You say Joe Mixon?
It was the Joe Mixon trade. So you traded.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, you traded Joe Mixon for a 2024 first and a 2025 first. So crucially, it was not
Yeah.
that current year's draft. But you had already traded that for Diggs. So
Yeah,
you had your next 2 years first for Joe
that's
Mixon.
right. This is the first year I've had a first round pick in forever, and I think I had to trade for
This, yeah, I think so.
it.
Yeah.
It's the first round pick of my own year.
So I have my notes right here, just in bold
Yeah, no,
capital
you're
letters.
complaining. It's too much. But
Well,
it's not like
it's more so flaming. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Mixon's been like pretty good since this trade. It's like I mean he's not two first good. Two
I,
first is like transformational. He's not been that, but he's been top 10.
he's like at the time you got flamed hard, and I
Yeah.
think he's not been. And he's running back 6 for his last year in Cincinnati, and running back 11 last year in Houston. That's not bad.
Yeah, he missed some games last year. He would have been like 8
Right.
or 9.
He's been very good for you. You haven't had to worry about him, obviously, outside of the injury last year, but he's been very solid. So looking back, it's not as bad. And those first ended up really well. The 2024 first ended up being Keon Coleman. So that's like, we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough. He'll probably be good, I think.
But I don't know if he's going to be like Joe Mixon level of production, at least in fantasy. I don't see Keon ever being wide receiver 6 or even wide receiver 11. So I think that's fine. Now the other first
What's the other one?
Colston Loveland. So
Ooh, we'll see on that.
I'm pretty high on him. Also on my team.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he works out. But yeah.
And those were my notes on the other video you did. You're like all the players that I eventually traded to. You're like, this was great value.
I mean, it was good picks. And Chuba Hubbard in the 10th or whatever, 14th was a great pick.
Wow, Chuba Hubbard.
Wish I had picked him. But
What
yeah.
a genius scrapping Chuba Hubbard here. Holy moly.
But I don't think it's as bad as we originally thought. I think it's kind of like the Adams trade where I was like,
No, and like I told you, for the listeners out there so they know, I offered Nate a first, said no. I feel like a first was around probably what he's worth-ish at the time. And then instead of being like, how about a first and a third, or a first and a bad player, I was like, 2 firsts.
yeah.
And he took it, I think, within 5 seconds of me sending it. And that's when they accepted that batch, you're like,
Yeah.
that was dumb.
You never want an insta accept.
Yeah, that was obviously the mistake I've learned. I've tried to be a lot more stingy with my picks and giving out stuff in my trades.
You have to.
But yeah, that was. I mean, luckily Mixon's been okay. There's a world Mixon beats up his wife, never plays another game, and I gave up 2 firsts for him. So
yeah.
Luckily that didn't happen.
That's why I wanted to get rid of him, is because I remember drafting him like, I hate this pick because in redraft I picked him in 2017. I remember very vividly because I picked him. I was like, oh, rookie, he's gonna be good. And he was terrible. And I picked him. I didn't pick him the next 2 years because like he was so bad for me, so bad. And I picked him in 2020, and he was terrible again. He got hurt. So I'm like, I'm never picking this guy again. And then I pick him in the freaking startup.
He was always chasing him.
And so then I was just angry from the beginning. I was looking for an excuse to get rid of him. And then someone in his house shot at that kid, and then it was just, I had to get him off the team. Just so dumb.
He's also like sneaky young. That's what when I traded for him, he's 25. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? This is the starting running back. It's 25.
Yeah.
So I hated it. But I mean, obviously the off the field stuff is a worry with him more than most other players.
Yeah.
But he's starting to straighten out. He's to calm down a little bit, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm wanting like 2 more seasons out of Joe Mixon. Just squeeze out everything I can get and send him back.
I think I don't know what his injury was. I don't really remember. But
I don't think it was anything like crazy. I think it was like torn. Something.
Yeah.
I think he's fine.
It was,
going into this, I don't think he's like running back by committee. I mean, he probably will be because they have a couple good backs, but he'll be the goal line guy for sure.
They got Nick Chubb, but I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. So I don't. That really doesn't scare me.
Did they get like Singletary or something or like something like that?
They drafted Woody Marks. They still have Damian Pierce, but he didn't really play last year.
I'm a Damian guy.
I
think Damian Pierce is gonna have a breakout year.
He was like, I don't know, They just like stopped using him. I guess I don't know when they got
I don't
Nixon,
know what
but
it is. Dude, he played so hard. And they were like, oh,
he, yeah, he was
like,
good.
you're going to run the bench.
Like I wanted to trade for him.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know how many people probably traded for him and gave up too much and now are like, what the heck?
Yep. I mean,
Right.
it didn't make any sense. He was the guy. I think they had much. They didn't have much else. I don't.
To be fair, that was like bottom of the barrel Texas. Like,
Yeah.
they had nobody.
They didn't have Stroud. They didn't have.
Yeah,
I think
they
Davis
were
Mills was the
rough.
quarterback. Yeah.
Well, I almost made the James Robinson kind of comparison, or you mentioned it on one of the previous ones. I kind of think that was the story with him. It was like they just didn't have anybody.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
Anybody moving the ball down the field, like, oh man, this guy's the guy. It's like he's not actually that.
Yeah, I think that's
that has a pulse.
that's perfect. Yeah, because I think their backups were like, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe Dario Gumbawala, I think, is the only one I can think of, and that's only because of the women's basketball player who that highlight whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
No,
I appreciate your.
It'll be mixed in plus a little bit of Canadian. I like.
Yeah.
Choose first. I got first.
I think it's better. Like I said, better than we all thought originally, but not terrible. I'm okay with that. I'm much more okay with it now than I was then. Which is like kind
I'm sure
of.
I'll be back on a future episode.
Oh, yes.
Someone that I shouldn't fit. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Well, maybe it depends on if Jefferson dies this year. In which case, you'll make out like a bandit. But we'll talk about that one. When we get to the team previews, the season previews, we'll get you back on. We'll talk about that.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Alrighty, good talking to you. We'll see you in a bit.
See ya.
All right. First guest on the podcast. Clap it up. Good job, Trev. Thank you. I hope it worked out. We'll see. I didn't try that before. I didn't do any testing with that, so I don't know if you could even hear his audio. I think you could. When I tested it on not YouTube. I tested it on my own, like off of Twitch. It worked. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, moving right along. Again, thanks to Trev. Hopefully you all could hear that on the podcast. We have a doozy. Tim went to sleep, of course. The guy always has to be snoozing. But quite a big trade went down here. And quite a controversial trade went down here. I remember this vividly. I can tell you exactly where Tim and I were sitting at the time. I don't remember the name of the brewery, but it was a brewery off of Capitol Circle Northeast in Tallahassee. Sitting at a table outside, drinking probably some, I don't know, whatever wit beer they had there, because I don't like IPAs. Tim was probably drinking some IPA, I don't know. And we'd start talking trades, and I don't know if Tim was drunk, but he decided to send or to accept this trade where I sent him Amari Cooper and Juwan Johnson for DK Metcalf, a 2024 third and a 2025 second. And the chat erupted. Seattle, Tim, please. Nate, excuse me. Dylan, Tim, I'm beginning to think you have no intention of winning this league. And Tim responds, accident veto. Controversial. We haven't had this happen yet in the league. Never, to this point, have we had anyone veto or call for a veto. And Dylan asks, as in the bylaws, is this an accident or is this just your response to criticism? And he says, because if it is an accident, I will veto, because that's what it says in the rules, that if it's an accident, it gets vetoed. And Tim says, yes, it's an accident. He vetoes it. I don't remember specifically if it was an accident or not. I don't remember what happened. I just remember discussing another trade. And this goes vetoes. Trev does say he thought it was a good deal. I think he was joking. I should have got your opinion on this, actually. We'll drop it in the chat if you want. And then he accepts this deal. A bigger deal. And arguably a worse deal. I send Amari Cooper. I also send Dallas Goedert, so upgrade to Juwan Johnson, or from Juwan Johnson, Miles Sanders, and Sky Moore. Now, again, think about it at the time. Amari Cooper is just coming off a solid season. It's not even the league, is he? Amari Cooper, good season. Coming off wide receiver 8. Not a bad season. Goddard, coming off of, again, not a bad season. He was the tight end 10. Who else was it? We've got Miles Sanders, coming off not a bad season. A couple of Eagles going to Tim's team. Not a bad season in 2023. Running back 10. And also, think about, he just traded for Kenneth Gainwell, so he has the handcuff here. Oh, maybe Tim knows something. And then Sky Moore, which I don't know why he wanted Sky Moore. He was terrible his rookie season. He didn't do anything. So, whatever. But on the surface, I mean, these three players were good. But he was 28. He was 28. He was 26. So all aging. And Miles Sanders was not under contract at this point. I don't think he had gone to Carolina yet. But I think he was written in the stars. He wasn't coming back to Philadelphia. Since then, obviously, none of them have done anything. I take that back. Cooper was okay his last year in Cleveland. Didn't do much in Buffalo, and now is not on a team. So it looks very bad for Tim. Those players haven't done anything since the trade. On the other hand, you have DK Metcalf, who has been more consistent. Maybe not better than maybe not had a better season, like a better season finish than any of those other players, but has still been solid. Finished as wide receiver 20, wide receiver 15, so the first year I had him as wide receiver 15. Michael Pittman, who now is back on Tim's team, so it tells you all you need to know about how much he liked Michael Pittman. Not a good year, a lot of targets, but with, was it Flacco throwing it to him that year, I think? I don't remember. Or was that last year? Oh, man, I don't remember. I think it was Flacco. And then last year dealt with back injury for the last couple of years. He's not been great, I'll give you that. James Cook, though, I don't know. Tim trading away a Buffalo Bill. A young Buffalo Bill. Now, I don't guess you didn't see the 5.7 a carry that he averaged in his rookie year. He's been very good in Buffalo the last couple of years. I don't think he'll be running back 7 this year. I don't think he's going to have 16 rushing touchdowns again. I think that's inflating his value. But still, this is a very solid player to have. And the first ends up becoming Chris Olave. Oh, sorry. Caleb Johnson. Caleb Williams, who then I trade for Chris Olave. And I trade for a package for Justin Jefferson. So, DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman, James Cook, and Caleb Williams for Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, and Sky Moore. Sorry, Timbo. I think you lost this one. At the time, looking back, I think it was more even, but all these players are much younger than all of these players. So I think in Dynasty Brain, I won this at back then and now. The chat was much more cool on this one. Travis says he doesn't know who wins. Dylan thinks I win immediately. Taylor thinks I win immediately. Good trade. Trade to make a trade. I disagree with that. Top 3 players, like Trev says, Tim gets top 3 players at position last year, 1 proven receiver, 2 upside guys, and a pick. This is a theme that everyone starts hating on me this year because I make so many trades, but screw you guys, I'm going to make trades till I die. So we'll get into that later. There's some more jabs at me that I'm not a huge fan of. But anyways, yeah, so this was kind of, well, there was more talk, more chatter in other ways as well. This trade, about this trade in different group chats and whatnot. But we're talking about nonsense. We're not going to really talk about that. I'm not going to get too much more into this. And then another trade that I make. I've just trades left and right here. Busy offseason continues. I get rid of Tyler Lockett. Not a bad player this year. I just wanted to get younger, and I wanted picks because I love drafting. So I decided to get rid of him, get him off my team. Coming off a wide receiver 13 season, I was very happy with that. He wasn't bad the next year in Seattle, just less catches, less yards, less touchdowns, and then he's now in Tennessee. which I think in real life is a great move. I think he's going to do fine in Tennessee. Wouldn't want him for fantasy, but I get him I trade him away for a 2024 second and a 2025 third, and this is my first win. I think it ends up becoming a loss eventually for what he's traded for. I trade him for the 2025 third, ends up becoming Jalen Milroe. 2024 second, Jaden Daniels. I'm thrilled with this trade. Even though I know what happens with Tyler Lockett, the next trade that he's involved with, getting Jaden Daniels, one of the best young quarterbacks in the league, huge fantasy asset for Tyler Lockett. 10 times out of 10, I'm taking that deal no matter what. So there you go. I'm very happy with that trade. Excuse me, this is only the second time Orlando makes a trade. I'm proud to be one of the two people that traded with this man. Now, I probably sent him, I don't know, 40 offers, maybe not 40, 20, 30 offers. So it's not unsurprising that eventually I broke him down. And then another trade by me. I'm just trading to trade at this point. No, I actually resent that. I'm making a good trade here. I'm going after the handcuff, Tyler Algier. I would never do this. Never going to do this ever again. Because I traded a second and a third for Algier and a third. And that second becomes Chase Brown. This is terrible. Just kidding. Rule's not going to listen to this. I love Chase Brown. Great player. He's going to do great this year in that Cincinnati offense. I want him, but Rule won't trade him to me, which is lame. The other picks in this trade are nothing. Abanikanda and Zach Evans. But I don't know. I thought I needed a handcuff. Now I don't have Bijan, and now I have Algier. So, Nate, if you're listening, you probably need Algier. So I'll take a second and a third for him to trade for. And yes, I do think I was fleeced here. And that's it for the pre-draft trades. As you see, Dylan updates the draft time, and we go crazy, blah, blah, blah. And the trade begins. So we're going to take a brief pause here to talk about the draft. The draft begins. We're going to take a brief moment to talk about the draft, and we are going to go through pick by pick, whether I think it's a good pick, bad pick, and I think that's where we'll end today, because I did not expect this to go 45 minutes already. And I kind of started, it's only 9:40. We'll see. We'll see where we're at when we get done with this. With the 101 here, of course, it's my pick. I just traded Devontae Adams for it. Devontae Adams for it. Bijan Robinson, I think this is a good pick. I mean, he's been a very good running back, very good fantasy running back, very good last year. Not as good as Jahmyr Gibbs, but a great player. I obviously end up trading him for and a couple of other things to get the 101 in the 2025 draft, which I then traded to get Justin Jefferson. Not on my team, he's on Nate's team. I think Nate made a good trade there because he's got a star running back there for years, really. Joe's on the clock here at 2. And I think he's on the clock for some time. And I have no idea. Well, actually, I do know why you picked him. He's a TCU guy. This is maybe the worst pick in league history. It's up there, at least right now. No offense, Joe. I understand. You get TCU, you got to pick your guys. Like, I get it. But he wasn't the best receiver in this class. Smith-Njigba was better. And went to arguably maybe not a better system then, but the writing was on the wall. He was the replacement for Tyler Lockett. And you saw what Tyler Lockett can do in that offense. And now you're seeing what Jackson Smith-Njigba can do in that offense. Even Jordan Addison, I definitely would have taken above him. He was ranked even right alongside with Flowers for me. If I was picking here, or 5, and it had been Robinson, Gibbs, Njigba, Addison, and I had to pick between Zay Flowers and Quentin Johnson, I'm taking Zay Flowers, I think. I don't remember at the time. I probably would have taken Quentin Johnson. But at 2, Joe, this is a terrible pick. This is an F. And I had the third pick. This is the one I got from Dylan way back when in the startup. And I'm obviously thrilled to have Jahmyr Gibbs on my team. I do sometimes worry about the whole split time thing with David Montgomery. We'll see. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. I would be open to trading him if anyone wants to offer. But for fair market value, he is the RB1. Thank you very much. I'm not as worried about this, the new offensive coordinator thing. I think it's going to be more of the same kind of offense that we had with Ben Johnson, who's a traitor, scumbag. Um, but very happy. I think we can all agree. I don't want to pat myself on the back here. I think we all agree this is a good pick. I think this is. I'm two for two on solid picks to start the draft. I think Yurden obviously makes the easy decision here and takes Jackson Smith and Jigba. Home run pick. I mean, you can't go wrong with Jackson Smith and Jigba at the 104. Obviously, a little slow to start as a rookie, but he still was competing with Lockett, and last year 100 receptions, 1,100 yards. Not the touchdown numbers you might want to see, but it's not really his role in the offense, especially when you had. I mean, you don't have him anymore, but when you had, was this guy not quarterback? Was John Reese Plumlee not a quarterback? I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just seeing that he's on. He was a quarterback. He's a receiver now. Oh my god. R.I.P. Anyways, you had DK Metcalf here. He was kind of the touchdown guy, and now you've got Jigba, and that's a great pick. That's a great pick from your Team 5 was Orlando. He does make this pick. I don't know why he's watched on my thing here, but I think this is a fine pick. He knew he was going into a situation where he was definitely wide receiver 2, but even potentially wide receiver 3 if you count the TJ Hawkinson targets. I don't think this is a bad pick, especially looking at kind of what's behind him. I probably would take him over Addison then. Over Flowers then. And I don't know, I kind of go back and forth on these two. I think Addison can be better than what he is, but Flowers is just very explosive. So you're cutting hairs, really, splitting hairs between these two. Not a bad pick, but I mean, when you look at some of these other guys that go here in the first, I'm happy with that if I get him in the first, out of this first round. And then we have Zay Flowers going next. Dylan. Had a decent, really actually good rookie year for a rookie in a Ravens offense, rookie wide receiver in a Ravens offense. I'm very happy with this. Very happy with his production in Baltimore. 1,000-yard season, kind of a quiet 1,000-yard season, but he's the receiver there. I mean, you don't really have anything else. Some people are still hopeful on Rashad Bateman. I am not. I was when he came out as a rookie. I was just not. It's not him. He obviously saw Mark Andrews there, and the emergence of Isaiah Likely, not really emergence. He's not been that good. He had one good game, and that propelled him to this tight end 16 position. So I think good pick at the 106. Good pick for Zay Flowers. Then we have our second bad pick of the draft, Kendre Miller. Seattle is in a constant quest to find running backs, it seems, and this is the first of 2 years in a row of rookie drafts that he takes. Actually, 3 years in a row that he takes running back. Remains to be seen for 2025, but didn't hit on this one. This is second, I would say. I don't know. This could be second or third worst pick of the draft of the first round. We'll say that. Kendre Miller was good at TCU, coming off that same TCU team that Quentin Johnson was on. Good player. But was it Dennis Miller or Dennis, whatever the coach was, just hated him. Not a fan of him, hated him, wouldn't play him. He wasn't good when he was on the field. Averaging less than 4 carry, you don't want that. But this has just been a bad pick. There is a good player in there. There is. I don't know if we'll ever see him again, though. So, bad pick. Sorry, Seattle. And then the guy I really wanted Michael Mayer. I thought this was the tight end I wanted. I was upset when Nate took. I thought he was going to take Kincaid. He took Michael Mayer, and I was, let's go. This is. Or no, I was sorry. I was like, this sucks. I wanted Michael Mayer. I don't want Kincaid. Michael Mayer goes, and he's been terrible, and he's not going to get any better unless he leaves. But even then, I'm wary of this because you got Brock Bowers there, and you're not going to dethrone Brock Bowers. This is a bad pick. Another bad pick. Sorry, Nate. You kind of struck out here on your 2 first rounders. Still time for Anthony Richardson. Obviously, that first year he looked okay. I think he still had sub 50% completion percentage. He had, that first year he had that like super long 60-yard throw. I don't remember. Why does it say unstable? Average stream bit rate too high. Don't know how to stop that. Hopefully you can hear me still. If anyone's listening, know if you can still hear me. And last year, I couldn't finish the season as a starter. Again, sub 50% completion percentage, not good. You don't want that. Still young. See, they didn't really improve their weapons at all. I think this is a decent little trio. I love Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. I still like Michael Pittman, but he's got injury issues that I'm kind of wary of, which is why I dealt him. And Alec Pierce, who's quietly pretty good as well. But I don't know. I'm not so much in, not so much. I don't like this pick. I don't like that pick for you. It'll be my third pick of the first round, Dalton Kincaid. Man, I had high hopes for him. I thought he was going to be so good. He was so good at Utah. He had a good rookie year. I'm totally happy with this. 73 catches, 673 yards. I really caught the touchdowns that we wanted, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get any better after this year. Had some injuries. I do think he can. Obviously, there's a great player in there attached to a superstar quarterback. Overall, it's a bad pick. Late first round. It's not as bad as something like a Quentin Johnston, but it's not great. And Dylan finishes out the first round with his next two picks, which are Zach Charbonnet and we'll talk about the next one. He picked him kind of as the handcuff for Kenneth Walker. He had Kenneth Walker this time. I think it's a good pick. Actually, I don't think it's a good pick. I take that back. At 111, you probably don't think you're going to get much better. He was consensus end of first round. So in that sense, it's fine. Like, it's not the wrong pick to make. I guess you could argue that with Kendra Miller too and Michael Mayer, but he's not been good. Obviously in a backup role, we'll see if Kenneth Walker gets dealt or if his injury issues continue. I wouldn't mind him on my team, but and really Dylan has ridiculous running back depth, so it's fine. But he hits a home run here at 112 with Devon Achan. Obviously, it wasn't averaging that 7.7 a carry that he was his rookie year. Dealt with some injuries as well. But he was very good. Very, very, very solid pass catcher last year. A safety blanket for whoever is throwing the ball there in Miami. So this is a great pick. Home run. This might be the best pick of the first round. There at 112. It's up there for sure, in my opinion. Again, I don't know if anyone's listening on Twitch right now, but I don't know what bitrate means. So I think it looks fine on my end. I can see my head moving, and I can see my voice is still going, so I don't know. But if anyone's listening live, can you just let me know if you can hear me or if I'm sounding like robotic or whatever. Okay, moving on to the second round. 1 second. Okay, good. Sounds good. All right. I don't know what bitrate means. I need to look that up. So this is new to me. Taylor gets his first pick of the draft. He goes with Rashee Rice, who's in the news lately. He gets his sentence after he hit and run or something. Was that in Texas? I don't remember. Sentenced to 5 years probation and 30 days of jail time, which can be served at any point during that 5 years. Don't think it's going to be happening anytime this year. I would assume maybe at the end of the season. Injured last year. I don't know. I'm not as big on Rashee Rice as a lot of people are. I know he's attached to Mahomes. I don't know. Like, he was fine his rookie year. 1,000 yards, almost 1,000 yards. Like, that's good. That's great. That's great for a rookie. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Obviously, there's a great player in there, but off the field issues are not great. I think he tore his ACL. That's not great. So we'll see. I think he'll be good, but we'll pump the brakes on this because you just don't know yet. And I don't want to be rude. Rules up with his first pick. Yeah, first pick. And he goes to Jonathan Mingo, which is a guy I was big on. He's been awful. This is a terrible pick. Not a good one here. especially with some of the guys you could have got, and you did get here. Rule does redeem himself in the second half. But that's a bad pick. This is a bad pick. And then we have a run on quarterbacks with two. We have Joe taking Bryce Young, who I'm still a believer of. I'm still a Bryce Young believer. I think he turned a corner there last year after getting benched for Andy Dalton. And I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be a viable starter in the NFL. Maybe less viable for fantasy, but I think this is a good pick. I like that pick there. And then Yurden, continues his fantastic draft with first getting Jackson Smith-Njigba at the 104 and then C.J. Stroud at the 204. The second quarterback taken 102 in the NFL draft goes at the 204. Home run pick, another home run. Yurden gets his quarterback of the future. Obviously a little bit of a down year last year, but still a young upside player. They have a new offensive coordinator, I want to say. I don't think they retained, is it Bobby Slowick? I don't know. I don't think he's there anymore. So I'm excited to see what CJ Stroud can do next year. And again, Yurden is happy with that. I have to imagine. That's a good pick. Then we get another, no, it's not a good pick. Not another, but this is not a good pick. Roshan Johnson at the 205. It was kind of crazy. Trying to remember, I don't remember who their running back was in 2023. It wasn't Swift yet, I don't think. Who was their running back in 2023? It wouldn't have been Montgomery because we had Montgomery. Let's see. I can't remember and it's bothering me. Justin Fields was there. You know what I mean? Literally. Yeah, it was a running back by committee. Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman. He couldn't beat out Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman as a rookie. He ain't going to do anything. I think this is a bad pick. I think you could have got better, obviously, as we see here in a second. Not a great pick. We have Nate's third pick of the draft, and he goes with Marvin Mims, the Oklahoma product, who has been not great. I think he could emerge kind of as a late bloomer, especially with Bo Nix coming in and shining. You have Cortland Sutton, who's kind of aging but still young. He's going to be the wide receiver one there. Obviously, Pat Bryant was just drafted, and I think a lot of people are high on him. I'm high on him. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to eat into some of that Marvin Mims work. And then you also have guys like Troy Franklin, who he was not good last year, but still has the ability to improve with such a good quarterback in Bo Nix and an offensive mind in Sean Payton. So we'll see. I think I'm gonna say jury's out. So far, he's not been great, but I think he will be fine. I think he's going to be better than. He's not going to be a wide receiver one, but a good wide receiver 2/3 or wide receiver 3/flex. That's fine. That's what you want out of your second round picks. You're not looking for home runs here. You're looking for guys that could start potentially. Next, we have Sam Laporta, my pick, and I am going to say this is a great pick. He was amazing his rookie year, less so his second year, but speaking as a Lions fan, I know he played injured for most of the season and still put up good numbers. I think he's going to put up similar numbers that he did to his first year, this upcoming season, and it's starting preferred, and I got him at the 207. And Taylor said at the 201, hey, what do you think about Sam Laporta? I really heard from him in camp. And I was like, oh, he's terrible. He sucks. You shouldn't take him. And he didn't. He listened to me for some reason, and he didn't take him. And I ended up getting him at 207. So very happy with that pick. Then we have another pick, Tajay Spears. This, I believe, was... Who has Tajay Spears? Is that okay? That's what I thought. It was Orlando that took him, and this is a bad pick. I guess you're thinking, I'm going to take this young rookie that they took, back up Derrick Henry, and then eventually take over from him when he leaves. That didn't happen. Or was Henry already gone? How long has Henry been in Buffalo? Or sorry, been in Baltimore? Yeah, that's what I thought he was. So yeah, Tajay Spears, not a good pick. He hasn't done anything yet, and Tony Pollard's there. You can't dethrone him. I'm not too happy about that. Um, so Jay Spears, Tank Bigsby looked like he was going to be much better this year, but he kind of fell off, and now they've got a three-headed monster here. They've got ETN, Bigsby, and Tootin, who they just drafted. He's still young. He's solid. He wasn't great his rookie year, but he was good last year. So I think there's more to come from Tank Bigsby. I think at the 209, it's not that bad a pick. This was maybe a little too harsh on Spears, but he just hasn't done anything. So I don't know. It's not great. I'm not in love with Tank Bigsby. Can be good, but we'll see with that Jacksonville offense. It's going to be different. It's going to be a totally new offense. I think they're going to run all three of those guys. So we'll see. Then at the 210, we have Jalen Hyatt. And at this point, it's kind of hard to call anybody a bust. We're just looking for players that are going to contribute. And Jalen Hyatt, I don't think, is that guy. Not a great rookie year. And then worse sophomore year. So I don't know what more we're going to see from Jalen Hyatt. We have 2 home runs here at the end of the second, though, both from Rahul. Maybe the only good moves he makes this season. He goes for Josh Downs and Chase Brown at the end of the first. Josh Downs has been solid, not wide receiver 1 caliber, but a very reliable target. He gets a ton of looks a game, ton of looks a season, and I'm very high on him. I think he's a good player going forward. Happy with this for sure. It's a great pick at the end of the second, mostly because he's playing. I mean, if you get a guy that's contributing, that's a good pick. And then Chase Brown, even better. Slow burner. They had Mixon there still in 2023. Pick for the future, and he was awesome last year. He's going to get 1,000 yards this year. He's probably going to get 70, 80 targets again this year. This is a great pick, especially at the end of at the end of the draft, at the end of the second round. Good pick. And then, as you know, we have the 213, which is not pictured here, but it ends up becoming Cedric Tillman. I don't think it shows it here. I do like that it shows your current team at this time. So my receiving room was looking not so good. But yeah. I picked Cedric Tillman. Bad pick. He's never going to be anything. He was fine. He was okay at the end of last year for Cleveland, but I'm not thrilled about him. He doesn't really excite me as much as he did coming out as a rookie. Then we have Darnell Washington, who Seattle takes. Been terrible. I think we all were in love with this. The build 6'7", 265. He looks like some basketball player. Greg Odom, whatever his name is. He looks exactly like him, in my opinion. But he's not been good. Not been very good. Sitting behind Pat Freiermuth, and now sitting behind Johnny Smith, especially in an Arthur Smith offense. He actually might get better looks. Arthur Smith, I don't know. Tight ends are slow burners, so it could work out. And this size is just, you gotta believe in it, so it could happen. Third round, whatever. I mean, it's whatever pick. You're doing dart throws right here. Keyshawn Butte, picked by Nate, looked terrible last year. I think this was like, I think we messed up here with this guy. He was actually really good last year in limited time for the Patriots. Don't know if we're going to see that again, especially with the addition of Kyle Williams, Stephon Diggs coming in. We'll see how that goes, but not terrible, but not great. And then Israel Abanikanda, not great. Really hasn't done anything. So, whatever, third round pick, dart throw. Gonna be too upset. I thought Deuce Vaughn was going to be the guy. We'll see. I don't think he's going to get any playing time above Javonte or Jaden Blue, who they just drafted pretty much as his direct replacement, and Miles Sanders. So, another dart throw didn't work out. And then probably the best pick of the third round here, Jaden Reed, who's been very average, but that's what you want out of your third round pick. Someone that can at least be a flex play for you. Loved Jaden Reed in college, of course. Went to my Michigan State Spartans, then became a Packer. I hate him. And I would have picked him. I think I had this pick. I think I had the 203, or the 303. I would have picked him, but he was a Packer, so can't pick him. And I picked Tyler Scott. Terrible, horrible pick. Probably won't ever see the field again as a receiver. Whatever. Zach Evans, another bad pick. Whatever. Third round. Eric Gray. I honestly did not know this was a player until the other day when I was doing research for this. I'd never heard of Eric Gray, which makes me feel like a bad ball knower. But I mean, can you blame me? He's terrible. I mean, that's awful. So yeah, terrible pick. Whatever, third round. And then I picked Michael Wilson here, which I'm happy with this pick. I know he's not even flex viable, but I like this guy. And he's married to Sophia Smith, star U.S. Women's National Team player, which is pretty cool. Now Sophia Wilson, I should say. He's not bad. Like, he could become something. He's technically slotted in here as a wide receiver 2 in Arizona. I don't know what that means, though, because they're really a run-first offense. They love James Conner. And he's got Marvin Harrison ahead of him, so I think it's fine. Like, it's good for a third round pick. I'll say that. Then Luke Schoonmaker gets picked by what's his name, Tim here. You know, honestly, not bad last year. He at least produced something. Not great, but it's at least something. He could get better. We'll see. And then we have Dwayne McBride, who's out of the league already. Ocala kid. That's why he was chosen. And then Will Levis to round out the 2023 rookie draft, who just tore his ACL or just had ACL surgery. That was announced today, July 21st. So, RIP to him. So yeah, overall, quite an interesting draft here. Now, I have a couple of winners and losers here. Winners, I selfishly say me, but also it's kind of hard to not to be a winner when you have 6 picks. And 3 of them being in the first round. So I think I definitely hit home runs here on Bijan and Gibbs and Laporta. Those are all 3 great picks. Selfishly, I don't want to top myself up here. Most of these guys aren't on my team anymore. Actually, only one of these players are still on my team. It's crazy. It's only been 2 years. I trade a lot. Yikes. Kincaid, kind of a miss there, but I made up for it with Laporta, Scott, whatever, and Wilson's been another winner. I have Dylan. Zay Flowers is solid, but really it's this HM pick at the end of the first. It's a great pick. I think that's didn't save his draft, but that made his draft, I think. For sure, Rahul. Hate the Mingo pick, but I mean you win here with Downs and Brown. End of the second. That's a huge win. That's a great draft, especially when you only have 3 picks. So I'd be very happy. Oh, sorry, he had Eric Gray and Dwayne McBride, 2 bad picks, but they're late third rounders, so whatever. But those 2 right here, that makes the draft. That makes you a winner in my eyes. And then Yurden. I mean, this is great. You only had 3 picks and you hit home runs on 2 of them, in my opinion. JSN, not quite a home run yet. He's like a triple, round third. Could be an inside the Parker. CMed reference for all you CMeds listening. And then CJ Stroud, I think that's another great pick, especially in the second round. 204. That is a good spot to pick if you want a quarterback. Spoiler alert. A couple of, like I already mentioned, Jaden Reed, good pick. They're in the third. And then I've already talked about the rest of the picks. Some losers, Joe. This is terrible. Quentin Johnston, that's a terrible pick. Bryce Young, not as bad, but Quentin Johnston, you're a loser for that one. Not like you as a person. A loser as a fantasy manager. And then Seattle, I have you down as a loser as well, just because of the Kendre Miller pick, especially when you had Achane there. I don't think anyone would have picked Achane at 107. Knowing now what we... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Expression. But yeah. Can't give you a winner for that one. And then Nate, surprisingly. Nate, I have you here down here as a loser as well. Michael Mayer, not good. Anthony Richardson, Butte, I don't know. Will Levis, obviously not good. And Marvin Mims, we'll see. So not great there for you, Nate, as well. So yeah, that is it for the draft. Now, I've been going an hour and 10 minutes. I think I'm going to end there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we'll go through the in-draft trades and we'll be done. This is going to be a long one, hour and a half. We'll go through the in-draft trades and we'll be done with the preseason, basically. Oh, no, off-season. Then we get into preseason. First trade we have is a bunch of fob being sent around. I don't know why we did that. That was dumb. And then we have our first in-draft trade. We have Dylan receiving a first, a 2023 first, which ends up becoming which is the 111. And to get that, he sends John Mechie, 2024 second, and a 2023 third. Dylan wins this one just by virtue of Charbonnet being the only decent player. Mechie is basically out of the league. The 2024 second becomes Troy Franklin, who, let's face it, not very good last year. And the third, Darnell Washington. Obviously, one of those guys could become amazing. And Charbonnet isn't really that much. I mean, he's more fantasy viable than any of those three. But he's not that much better. So this is kind of a wash. At the time, I thought Dylan fleeced for sure. But it's not as bad looking back. Tim didn't agree with this one. He thought this was bad. Then we have another trade here. Trades Dave Njoku, who is coming off of a decent year in Cleveland, 2022. Tight end one. Well, fringe tight end one. Traded Njoku, a 2024 third, a 2023 second, a 2024 third for 2023 second, which is the 202, and the 2024 second. It was a late second, I think. I get it. The 202, go get your guy. That's a lot to give up for Jonathan Mingo. And eventually Jalen McMillan. Njoku is very good still. Very solid tight end. The 2024 third ends up becoming Luke McCaffrey, so whatever. I mean, you go 2023 second is Tank Bigsby, so whatever. 2024 third here, the other one becomes Bo Nix. Crazy Bo Nix fell that low. Not really that crazy. We're not super flex league, but wow. That's rough. That is rough. Not a good trade. This episode. Rahul does then make another trade with me. Oh no, sorry, it's Dylan and I first, and then me and this is a Robert. I get Robert Woods in the 213 for the 210. So I move back 3 picks and pick up Robert Woods, who sucks, and then I pick Tillman with a 213 and Dylan picks Hyatt with a 210. Seattle gets mega pissed at this. I actually asked him for a quote on this. He said something along the lines of, let's see. I said, comment on how you feel after Hyatt and Tillman both taking at 210, 213. He says, I was pissed after the one taken at the end of round 2 because I completely forgot about the comp pick, and I'm pretty sure you're the one who had the pick. I was. And he felt betrayed because he told me how much I liked those two, or how much he liked those two. And he did. He was gushing over them. And of course, I had to screw him over because I knew he had the 213, and Tillman was the best player left on the board. Why did I not take him? This was a mega wash, though. Huge nothing bird. So, whatever. And then we have... Oh, sorry. No, it's me and Trev that make the next trade. As you can see here, Seattle poops on this little idea here. Justin selects Cedric Tillman. Then Trev and I make the last trade of the draft. Just a bunch of third-round picks swapping around. It is the 2023... It's the 303 for the 306 and the 309. And I also send him a 2023. So he gets Israel Abanikanda and eventually Dylan Sampson. Remains to be seen. I think he could be good. But they did also draft Quinshon Judkins, who might be in jail, so maybe he's. And then I get Tyler Scott and Michael Wilson. Another nothing burger. Wilson has contributed at least at some level in the NFL, and none of the other guys have yet. Dylan Sampson obviously could. Mostly a wash here. And really, I have in my notes. A lot of these picks, man, like don't matter. Like if you going forward, I gotta stop worrying about picks, man. This is none of these guys matter. Third round picks don't matter unless you get super lucky and get like a Bo Nix, like I said, or like there's no one in the third round that I would trade anything for. Partially because I'm not going to trade for a Packer. But man, these third round picks are useless, worthless. So okay, Dylan drops Kenny Galladay, and this is the end of the draft. And this ends draft season. So we're going to end here. I have a couple of other things to mention. Trev here picks up a couple of, I think, makes a couple of good UDFA signings. Now we have since switched to how UDFA works. We no longer have just a free-for-all like we have in the past. Now we Bob thing. But Trev was lucky to strike first. He picked up Tucker Craft as UDFA. I think this is a good pickup. He's kind of like the guy there in Packerland, so I hate him. And it's still a great pickup. This is a fantastic UDFA signing, and he also picks up Brenton Strange, which strange that I mention him because he hasn't really done much this year or in his career, but there is a tight end void here in Jacksonville, and he's the only guy that has any really shot of doing anything. So, two great UDFA signings in my opinion, and then Nate picks up a couple of great, like fantastic UDFAs. He picks up Tank Dell, RIP. Don't know that he'll ever see a football field ever again, or at least he won't be what he used to be. And it sucks because he was really good, really fun to watch. And he's not going to be that anymore. You hope he does, but with all of this knee damage, it looked bad. It looked terrible when he got injured. So we'll see. He's one to keep on the roster, Nate, but you also picked up Puka Nacua as a UDFA, which is just crazy. I think we all maybe thought he wasn't going to be anything like we thought he was going to be. He had the injury last year, of course, and plans to retire by 30 and become a streamer or something. I don't know. He's done a bunch of stuff in the lately. It was fantastic UDFA pickup. Unbelievable UDFA pickup. To get a wide receiver 1, unbelievable. Very, very good pickup for Nate there. But yeah, all right, that's it for me. I just saw this. Dylan drops Jordan Mason, who could be the starter in Minnesota. Sean Tucker? Sean Tucker's got to be. Oh wow, 6 yards of carry last year. Wow. Could be part of a little. Could be the backup for Bucky next year. But yeah, I mean, look at that. This is crazy. That's a great signing. Musgrave, I think Dylan picked up Musgrave and Trev picked up Kraft, and we all thought Musgrave was the guy, and then it's been the opposite since then. So kind of funny, but all right, that's it. I'm done for this podcast. It's been an hour and 18 minutes. That's quite a long podcast. And we still have like the entire season to get. Still have like 20 trades, probably more than 20 trades to get through, and quite some more discussion to be had. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Those of you that listened, and we will be back some point this week to finish off this season, and then keep it moving. So all right, Trev, it's good having you on the podcast. The first guest, remember to clap it up for him. He did very well. True natural, on-screen talent. So yeah. All right, that is it. I will talk to you all next time. See ya.